Welcome back to Dewan Pundit Indonesia, the English version. Jebret team, let's talk about a major decision that has stirred plenty of debates in Indonesian football. As we predicted back in December, PSSI has officially ended its partnership with Shin Tae Yong'S as head coach of the national team. And according to PSSI chairman Erick Thohir, the decision was made after a continuous evaluation of Shin Tae Yong'S performance. But here's the bigger picture. Indonesia is still in a decent position in the third round of World Cup qualifiers, sitting third in a group filled with World Cup regulars. Is this the right timing or not? I'm not gonna go to Mas Firzi because he's
I've had
through
already
a lot
answered
already.
Don't we all want to hear that in English?
He answered that already.
Yeah.
He's been going through a lot this past 2 days.
Man
I
of the
think.
moment.
So let's just go to Mas
Going
Adi
a lot.
first.
I can't speak. If I speak,
This is a very
I'll be in
scary
trouble.
subject,
I'll be in
y'all. I don't
trouble,
want to be
yeah.
accused as a buzzer.
Yep, Shin Tae Yong, what a
What a
coach.
journey.
What
Yeah.
a journey.
What a journey,
It
yeah.
was amazing. It was great while it lasts. Every Cinderella story, every fairy tale has an end. And
Unfortunately,
the
yeah.
base that he has provided
Yeah,
the
the
national
foundation.
squad, young players coming in, he trusts all the young players. Cutting a generation is not easy. The backlash of it is not easy, and I think the backlash of that is part and parcel of the pressure that he has faced this past 4 or 5 years, because
Yeah.
a lot of situations in terms of coming back to that decision is providing that there's no comfort in that. But he was so strong, and he knows what he has to do.
Yep.
And in terms of the backlash, I think he hears it. He hears the negative voices as well. But then, this is football, and it's a result-based business.
Yeah.
And the result speaks for itself. We haven't had that chance of enjoying our squad playing in the Asia Cup for quite some time.
Yeah.
And then we can make it through to the knockout stages. Don't cry.
No, I'm not gonna cry.
Knockout stages. Now,
cry.
that is something that is a new horizon that's been brought in by the coach, by the players, and by the work that the team has delivered in the highest cup competition in Asia. And then you talk about the under-23s
Yeah.
playing in the same competition, making it through to the semifinals, almost reaching the Olympics. Amazing. The under-20 in Uzbekistan playing alongside Iraq and the host Uzbekistan, almost making it through from the group stages. That was the start of a great journey.
Yeah.
And of course, football again. It's normal to have a coach getting the sack. Disagreements happen. The journey has directions, and maybe it's not the same direction as the federation wants to take this team with the coach. So again, yeah, it's very normal, and then the federation knows what they're doing. They interviewed the replacement, of course, specifically in trying to get the goal, which is to go to that next step with 3 massive games, 2 in March, and then of course you have China as the second from last game. So now the situation with the change of coach is a must-win game.
Yeah.
There's no
Definitely.
other choice, and the federation knows that. They're putting themselves in a position where there's high pressure now with the decision, and maybe from Shin Tae Yong, he has done his best.
Yeah.
But maybe the timing, maybe before the contract extension would be the perfect time to say we're not going in the same direction. We're
True.
going to move up a step maybe for the side. So we need an elite manager, elite coach to guide us to this massive round 3 qualifications. But I don't know if the choice is the coach or the manager that is in that bracket of elite to try and maybe make this team more competitive. I don't know. If you look at the body of work, that is what you see from a coach or a manager, the CV, past stuff that he did, the winnings and the style of play. And maybe in that interview, you asked to this coach in terms of a condition when you're playing, you're behind, what are your approach, your tactics, your formations. So all is considered, and the guy that they chose is Patrick Kluivert. I would
Yes.
like to ask Pssi, who are the other candidates in that so-called interview? Because of course, it's impossible to only have one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you have like
Yeah.
4 or 5 candidates.
There's gotta be some more options that we
Do you know
just
any
don't know about.
any insights in that?
I have names, but unfortunately, it's all off the record. Maybe after the camera stops, we can talk about
You
it,
said-
but not on record.
Adi's setting you up. I see how this is going.
Yeah.
He's setting you up.
He just wants to
That
know, yeah,
Perfect
from
answer,
the
honestly.
It is. It is.
from the
Candidates.
list of candidate.
How
Because-
many candidates
Because
are there?
if you go from
3.
Shin Tae Yong, 3.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah.
Three
If you go from Shin
candidates.
Tae Yong and then you move to another direction, which is trying to upgrade
think,
the
yeah.
performance, upgrade the tactics. When you say the tactics weren't good enough,
Yeah.
the players weren't comfortable, maybe with the communication, with the talks between the coach, his team, and the players. So all of that considered, so you're looking for a guy who has that tactical capabilities, or just a coach or a manager with the management skills, or just vibes. Because a lot of teams have just vibes coming
They
in
just
there.
lives
They
on
walk
vibes,
like
yeah.
corner, and then the vibes are happening.
vibes
Like
are there, yeah.
you're playing, you're not playing. So
Yeah.
what's the consideration if you're trying to go elite, and then you chose maybe
you know,
Patrick?
yeah, you know what? That's the question on every Indonesian mind right now,
Yeah.
and we don't have that answer now. Actually, Eric Thohir is doing a podcast on.
That's
the other
Mr.
one.
for you. Mr.
Eric Thohir.
Yeah.
His
Bapa.
Excellency.
Bapa Eric Thohir.
Oh, excellency!
No, no.
Oh. So yeah, maybe there's an explanation for that.
Yeah.
But currently, as we're recording this, Eric Thohir is doing another podcast
Yeah.
on the next building, and
Yeah.
maybe after that we're gonna watch that podcast and maybe have a
Yes.
bit of explanation on the decision-making process,
Yeah.
on
Be fun.
why they settled on a relatively green manager, but he's a great player. Although I know that's not necessarily gonna make him a great manager.
coach,
although a poor player can also be a great manager.
Mm-hmm.
Jose Mourinho, for example, we don't know for sure. We're gonna give Patrick a chance
Yeah.
because he will have a lot in his hands. I think he's the one who's been chosen by PSSI, and he
Yeah.
accepts that challenge. With him accepting that challenge is also a testament of
His character?
his character, or he needs something. But
Because
yeah,
this
yeah.
Timnas is unique, right? 'Cause
Very
I put
unique,
it
yeah.
on a same bracket if you talk about England and the way the supporters react and
Yeah. True.
try to be involved, and then you even talk about Thomas Tuchel not even in the job yet
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And people are saying that he's not the one.
Yeah.
He doesn't fit the style. He's German, blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
yeah, yeah.
And now the same reactions for Patrick Kluivert. We haven't seen him manage the side. We haven't seen
Exactly.
how his tactics is.
Yeah, we need to be open-minded.
Yeah, so we have to
And-
give him time as well.
Yeah.
And this is a very difficult
and
challenge.
especially not making hashtag Kluivert out
No,
trending
yeah.
on
That's not
Twitter.
good.
Maybe after the defeat against
Maybe
Australia,
after the defeat
we can
against
talk about
Australia.
that. But right
It
now,
will be a different dynamic after
Yeah.
that. But I want to know exactly. Well, he talked to Fabrizio Romano this today, but I want to know in the press conference on Sunday his ambition, his philosophy, the way he wants to play.
Yep.
the back three, back four.
The back three, back four.
Yeah.
If he changes that, the communication with the team. Because
Actually,
communication-
I think we should put a pin on this conversation because we're going to talk about Kluivert on the next segment.
Oh goodness
yeah.
me! Yeah,
Talk about Coach Shin
This is
Tae
the
Yong.
Shin Tae
Way
Yong.
too
Yeah.
excited, bro.
We're too excited.
Way too
Okay.
excited.
It's very
already.
difficult to follow
To
that
follow,
that
yeah.
that Shin Tae Yong's
Departure,
topic
yeah.
of discussion.
the
too.
departure,
Yeah.
and then
Not talking
the
about
the connection, because
the
I think
connection because
I think
we're
from
going to talk about that
Yeah.
on the next segment.
yeah. Now it's about Shin Tae Yong. It's about where were we
Yeah.
before Shin came in.
Yeah.
The transition, maybe
Yeah.
Luis Mia was quite okay.
Oh, with Simon. Oh.
Yeah, but with Simon McManamy,
Yeah.
you know where we were in that position to now being considered even in the conversation of qualifying to round 4 of the 2026 World Cup, third position. So again, this is very problematic. A lot of supporters maybe they're confused because we're still in the conversation of making through, and why not give the chance to Shin to finish his work, which I think is a great point. But again, the federation knows what's best, and I think this is, although it's hurtful, although we have all the respect, we love Shin Tae Yong, all he did was for the best of the side, and the connection, I think, is now incredible because maybe from the era of Pak Nurdin Halid, there was a disconnect with the supporters, a lot of problems, and then now you have that connectivity. You have the crowd shouting for the side to do well, always with the chants and everything. The support is incredible. So there is a unified terms that we see on the on a daily basis in any stadium that Indonesia play, even away matches. So that is, I think, the positive of Shin Tae Yong in terms of the playing style as well. Maybe not a lot of people agree with me, but I think if you're in Indonesia and you're playing counter attack, I think that's the way to go.
That's the way to go.
Nottingham Forest.
There you go.
No,
I think we can, we can see, like, it was a huge era of, transformation in our Indonesian football, and Shin Tae Yong was a huge part of it. He played a huge role in developing a lot of the players. He's involved in not just the senior national team, but the younger groups as well. So I think we can look back at this era with, proud feelings, having him as our head coach. I can see why a lot of our fans are disagreeing with the decision, but I think, PSSI knows better than us. They're the footballing brains. They're, top of the chain in terms of their decisions. So, as I always say, the only thing we can do is to support, their decision. And thank you, Shin Tae Yong,
thank you very much
for a great 4 or 5 years.
A very wonderful era for our football. Actually, when you consider that the first 6 months, 1 year of his tenure, he started with the pandemic. He cannot go to the stadiums. He cannot monitor our players directly. But starting with the under-19 team, he brought in players like Rido and like Arhan. Those two players are with him from the start. They're with him now.
As well.
Asnawi as well, and they are still with him until the very end. And with our team playing the football that they are, I think going to the Asian Cup on merit, not as a host, for the first time since 2004. And we beat South Korea in the under-23. South Korea, who are gunning for their 10th straight Olympic qualification in that tournament. That's a big milestone. No wonder when my friends from abroad, they said that this is a decision that reverberates around Asia. I mean, not just Southeast Asia, but Asia, because people in Korea, they said that Coach Shin is still one of the most liked coach in their history. I mean, even when Jurgen Klinsmann was in danger of losing his job, Coach Shin, I got told that he was one of they got potential candidates from foreign coaches and local coaches, and Coach Shin's name was one of the one of the top of the list on that local coach list. He eventually lost out to Hong Yong-bo.
I think Hong Yong-bo now is on borrowed time as well.
He's
not doing very well. He's not playing very well.
So there's a big possibility
he's going to be back.
But
before he comes back, Shin Tae Yong, he's going to enjoy golf. He's going to enjoy his family, and he's going to enjoy the money.
Of course. And my friend said, another Korean journalist said that maybe he's doing media. He's going to do media work when he got back. I don't. We're going to see about that. Maybe not straight back to coaching, because he got sacked just 6 months into a 2-year contract. That will be a big compensation package also for him. We know the crowd massively loves him. The Indonesian football fans are crazy in love with him. I think he knows that even when in Surakarta the last in what will turn out as his last game for Indonesia, when our team was not playing that well against the Philippines, we played again. We played with 10 men. The team maybe not functioning as good as it can be. At the end of the day, the crowd still chants Shin Tae Yong after 90 minutes. So he's a very popular coach over here, and for the PSSI, for the federation, for Mr. Eric Thohir to take that decision, a very bold decision, a very big gamble, a very, very high risk decision. With this will impact Eric's popularity, of course. It will impact the higher ups in the federation's popularity. This will further enhance Coach Shin's reputation among the Indonesian public. Everywhere I go, every screen I see, there's always support for Coach Shin. But there's got to be a very, very good reason for PSSI to take this chance. And for former players, they know that this is, at the end of the day, is football. Our publication, we talked to Greg Mokolo, we talked to Mark Locke, we talked to many former players, and they said, this is football. This is the risk of having a job in football. Things can change. The direction, as Adi said, it can change. It can change very wildly. And as we know, Coach Shin was brought in from the previous regime, not Eric's choice. And
just don't go there.
Don't go there. We're gonna stop it there.
I'm gonna save you. No, please no.
But we're gonna talk about it later. But the key thing is the replacement. It has to be better than the previous one.
Of course.
Hopefully,
has to be, because the invitation that I got when the press conference said it's gonna be a new plan for the development of the national team.
Yeah, I can't wait for that press conference.
So when they announced they're gonna sack Coach Shin, so they said it's gonna be for the development and for the betterment of the national team. So the next one is supposed to be, and he has that responsibility.
How about the supporting cast for Clivert? The two
now
guys.
We're gonna talk there.
Oh, it's later. Okay. So now let's
Patrick Clivert
maybe
strictly Shin Tae Yong.
How would Clivert
Clivert again?
For me, this is the
entree,
the bridge,
the introduction to the next segment.
That's okay.
Culture-wise, for Clivert, this team now has a lot of European players. So it's gonna be easier for communication. But in terms of the players, the likes of Rido, Asnawi, the likes of Arhan, of course, Clivert has to know how to treat the Asian players as well as a unit. So it's gonna be a bit difficult, maybe challenging for him,
to say the least. But that difference in culture, I spoke to the Korean journalist. He said that maybe that was one of the reasons of the dynamics behind the scene.
I love that dynamics. I love it. I love that word.
I love
floating
that
around.
Floating around. It's neither negative, it's neither positive. It's just there.
Just dynamics.
It's there, but there's something there.
The team is alive.
But it's mysterious. Like it's like a big blob in the dressing room. But I think one of the reasons it stems from the dynamics. The dynamics in the dressing room. It stems from the difference of culture between Korean culture, which he said is very hierarchical. A senior and a junior. There's no way a junior can what do you say, membantah,
intervene
to say otherwise from what the senior said. We saw it in the Asian Cup when Lee Kang-in challenges Son Heung-min, that leads to that finger incident. Lee Kang-in got that cancel culture in Korea. He got a lot of endorsements cancelled because of that, because people in Korea, they respect that very highly Son Heung-min. And maybe that plays in the differences of culture with the alleged dynamics that happen between
Becomes
Coach
problematic.
Shin and European-based players, because European-based players, European people in general. I talked to coaches who work with European players, and they said for them discussing tactics with the coach is something that happen
That's-
regularly, that
yeah.
happen every time. But maybe it's not something that happen in Korean culture. Maybe that's the difference in communication that eventually leads to this situation, this
Yeah.
unfortunate series of events that culminates in this situation with with a player that comes in from similar culture. I hope that will bring a lot more understanding between the new batch of players, especially the players that are playing in the Champions League. They're playing in the top leagues in Europe,
Yeah.
in the Eredivisie, in
And Kluivert has that experience as a player. so
Kluivert
he
has that
knows
experience of
Yeah.
a
how to
player,
position
how
himself.
to position himself. And Arya Sinulinga said yesterday
That's
that
Mr. Arya.
There you
Mr.
go.
Arya Sinulinga,
Another one.
okay, what's with you? And he said
Hierarchy.
Hierarchy.
Hierarchy,
Yeah.
true.
he said I think he used the word abang-abangan to say that maybe Kluivert is the name, and
Yeah.
the tactical and coaching will be done by his assistant. Yeah, of course we're gonna talk about
Yeah.
Kluivert again, but I hope that the sameness in culture will be helpful to the core of the team that is now consists of 10 or 11 diaspora players. But I hope the local players can have their shout. I think with Kluivert, I think he can meet them faster than the European-based players, because Liga 1 will only play 3 matches in March.
Yeah.
I asked Bang Bes about this. Liga 1 will only play 3 matches in March, and the league will stop for a week before
Yeah.
the Australian game. So he gonna have that extended training camp with the local players. He's gonna meet with them earlier. He will be talking to them.
Yeah.
He will hopefully he will use that chance to get his ideas across, to grab them, to nurture them, because we know Coach Shin are very close and very dear with the majority of them. He guided them. He helped them to become what they are now.
And
Yeah.
the thing with Shin is he's hands-on, like a father figure, in
As a
terms of
father
helping
figure, yeah.
Asnawi,
Exactly.
helping Arhan, trying to find clubs, trying to locate the perfect club for them.
Sure.
Asnawi is a proven player that he spends a lot of time with, even more than with his kids. That opportunity for Ansan. When he started his career abroad in the K2, I think there's a lot of positive from that connection between Shin and the players, of course.
Right, so I'm sure that you guys are very eager to talk about Patrick Kluivert.
Oh, we're
because
still
I have
talking
to
about Patrick
intervene.
Kluivert.
Yeah.
Because Kiko hasn't even say a word or two.
Yeah.
I'm
He's
having
trying
fun. I'm
not to
having
say
fun here.
anything.
I'm having fun
The
here.
part where he says something about Kluivert.
I don't-
Let's
I'm not
cut
gonna
it,
say
guys, and make it on your top shelf.
Okay, so
Anyways.
let's just move on to the next segment. We're going to talk about Patrick Kluivert, but right after this one.